Man, it's that old thing, perseverance, consistency, hard work. My goal is to put the same work into, my businesses, my family that I put into football. And I've been running with that mantra since I got married back in '97. That if I'm going to have a successful marriage, I got to, the same hard work and same consistency and discipline I had on the football field, I got to put in my marriage and with my kids and with my businesses and all that. So it teaches you a lot, man. How to deal with your fellow man and not look at his color, but look at what he can do for the overall good of what you're trying to accomplish. So sports to me in general is just an incredible deal when you talk about football specifically because of the closeness of guys. I just believe it's an amazing sport.
Another edition of Talking Ball with the Czar. I'm Emory Hunt, the Czar of the Playbook, here on the campus of Nicholls University, home of the Colonels, with head football coach Tim Rebowe. Coach, I appreciate you taking time.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You're a Louisiana guy through and through. You were born in nearby Norco, Louisiana. You played at Southeastern. You coached here before. You also coached many other colleges around the state and also high school football. What does this region mean to you, and especially for you personally and also from a football standpoint?
Born and raised and went to Destran High School, which was very fortunate to be a head coach at an early age, play for a state championship. But I grew up on Nicholls football. My brother Rusty played here in the 70s, so me and my dad was always coming to the game, so running around here. And then very fortunate to come back here in 1995 and I spent 6 seasons here with Darren Barbier brought me here. So I just think it's a great area. It's a great community. It's a great campus. If you know the area a little bit, they're very passionate. And you talk about the river, the bayou, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and people know what you're talking about. But just football's crazy around here. I was glad and very fortunate to come back and be the head coach here, and we've just taken off.
And you got those high schools nearby that kind of feed into what this university really is.
Got a lot of good coaches, and I know we can talk about who established those relationships. Me growing up and being a high school coach and stayed in touch with those guys, and it's very, very special. And it's easy for us to go into the schools and recruit, and everybody knows us in the area.
Now, you were assistant coach here in the mid to late 90s, early 2000s, and when this position opened up, was this the dream opportunity for you?
Well, I'd come full circle. I left here and went to Monroe. Then went to UL Lafayette when I was there for 11 seasons. But a lot of people don't know I had applied for the job. It was open 5 years earlier, and I applied for it, and I didn't get it. And then you look back at the time, you talk about everything happens for a reason, and I got to spend 4 good years going to the New Orleans Bowl with Mark Hudspeth and the Raging Cajuns. And then when it opened up again, I applied. I knew the opportunity was there, and the timing was right for me to take over.
Now, do you recommend that for younger coaches to look at that early rejection as not a failure, but hey, maybe I can work on some of the things before I get
Absolutely. Maybe I thought I was ready, and at that time, maybe I wasn't. And the man upstairs works in mysterious ways, and he put me. He's maybe go there and fail, if you look at it that way. But it's very, you just got to stay working hard. And I told a long time ago, don't go searching for the next job. It's going to find you.
It's been a while since the Colonels have gotten to the playoffs, and they have significantly got better every year you've been here, culminating in that playoff berth first in 12 years. At what point, whether it was during the spring or when you first got here, did you see that light come on? It's like, these guys are going to be real good.
When we first got here, we're coming off an 0-12 season, and the players here were starving for something. We knew that. They were hungry. They wanted to win. And after that first year, we ended up going 3-8. We had some success. We had a couple wins, and maybe we probably could have had a couple more at that time. But you're saying, hey, not just yet. You know what I mean? You don't want to get ahead of yourself too far. And then the next season, when we go to Georgia and we play and we played in the trenches, you know, and we were good up front on the offensive line and good up front on the defensive line, we could see the progress that we were making. We ended up 5-6 in year 2, and then moving into the next year, we thought we were ready to turn the corner. But you never know exactly, you know. But when anytime you have your quarterback coming back and you're good up front, you have a chance to be successful. This year turned around 8-3. Host a playoff game for the first time ever in the history of school, so it was a special year.
Do you feel as though now with players going through a process like that, they go from losing mentality to maybe we can win to expecting to win?
Well, I think so. And after the way we finished last year, you know, you always judge your team when you're coming back. And at the end of last year, we lost our last 2 games. And you know, we were trying to get to 6-5, have a winning record. We ended up 5-6. Moving into the offseason, you thought that. And there's a different expectation by the players. You know, our first year when we got here, you had to talk to them about winning and learning how to win. And it took us a little while to do that. Now the guys expecting it, and really when you got your team in that position, when you have the leaders on your team, then they can take control and they understand the culture and what's behind it, and you let those guys take off, or you know you're going to be successful.
We know college football is all about developing guys. You can recruit, bring guys in, but if you can't develop them, it's useless. But you're a great developer of talent, especially in the secondary. Everywhere you've been, your secondary has produced NFL players. What do you do differently, or how do you go about your business as far as getting guys to develop their skills, but more particularly in the secondary, how you get those guys to lead from the back?
Well, I think when you look at it, a lot of it has to do with recruiting, and you know, and I think our guys, our coaches we have on this staff, and in the places I've been, are great evaluators of talent. I think you have to do that, and some of the guys we get, you have to see some potential in them. You know, because sometimes you're not getting that 4 or 5-star guy. You got to recognize some certain talents that would go. But growing up in the secondary, you know, a physical mentality. You know, with some of those guys, we had some good ones at UL who went on to play. We had a couple here so far, but you know, my job is to try to coach the coaches a little bit, and Coach Rebowe and the defensive staff, they do an outstanding job. So, you know, we coach them in the meetings, we coach them a little bit. I kind of hands off a little bit every now and then, but you can see me during practice a little bit, heading more towards that defensive field, and especially into the back end.
Well, it takes a lot of passion and love to do how you've done it from many different levels. And I think that's just impressive. So it says that you love the game a lot. What is it you love about the game?
I love every day, and every coach will tell you the best part of the day is those 2 hours you're out there on the field. You know, and things change a little bit when you become a head coach. It's more sitting behind a desk, and you have so many other administrative things to do. But just the relationships that you can build with those players, and when you go out there and you see a young man, you talked about development, and you can see him grow from that freshman, sophomore to that senior year, where now they're ready to go and ready to move on. The development process is just incredible.
Coach, we remember a time where there were, let's say, only a few schools got exposure. Now with everyone on television, some sort of streaming device, I feel like that has gone to the wayside. The country has become smaller. When you look at these options that students have, they're making smarter choices. So why would a student athlete choose Nicholls?
I think in the recruiting process, it starts so early nowadays, you know, so and then you have to start developing those relationships with these players at the high school level. But when you look at it, and I'm talking to a young man about recruiting and where you want to go, it has to be a great fit for you. And I tell him that all the time. And I says, you're going to know in your heart where you're going to go if it's a good fit for you. We like to think it's all about the relationship. It's all about the people. It's all, you know, everybody has locker rooms. Everybody has certain stadiums. Everybody has uniforms. It's the people inside that make the difference, and I tell them that all the time. I think we got a special group of young coaches here who really care about you as an individual and not just a football player. And when you do that, in the old saying about they don't want to know how much you know, they want to know how much you care. And our coaches care about them. They're going to be here long after the football days are over, and our guys come back, and we've proven that.
Yeah, and that's true, because as I walked in the building for this interview, everyone that came in contact with me spoke to me. Good morning, how you doing? That, you know, that means something, you know, and that shows what you're talking about. The people here is what make the program. You've done many of these things, but the people here is what make it special.
Well, we always said I think South Louisiana is a unique place. I mean, nothing against any other part of the country, but it's unique in that aspect because people greet you like that, and you never know a stranger. I mean, you never meet somebody you did not know. You know, so we know everybody in this area. Everybody knows us. A kid can come here, feel comfortable. I think he's going to get a great education. His teachers are going to know his name, and they'll be able to come back and be really, really productive citizens.
I know I had a follow-up question before I get out of here. You were a high school coach, which means you were also a high school teacher. Teaching is important. What would you say football taught you?
Discipline, how to be disciplined, how to be organized and do those things, and how to get along in a group setting. We don't get that a lot. It's a special place, those locker rooms and the bonds that you can create. But it taught us that we had to be able to be disciplined to do the things that we want to get to.
Well, Coach, I definitely appreciate you taking time and wish you the best of luck this season.
Thanks, Anne-Marie. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
All right.